Good morning from the waterfall side campsite. I think we both slept pretty well last night. Here's our setup. Basically, I slept here, Cassie slept here, the fridge was in between, and our little Bowser boy also slept between us, kicking me all night. How'd you sleep, Cassie?
It was pretty good. It was a little bit cold, but not too cold that I was uncomfortable.
Basically, we put all of our stuff in the front seats, and then during the day, all of that stuff is back here. At night, we move it all to the front. It is day 2 of our 4-day adventure to southwestern Montana. Yesterday was an incredible day, one of the best days I've had on the road in a long time. It was a lot of fun to share it with Cassie. This campsite is one of the best I've found in a long time. Cassie said it's her favorite campsite she's ever camped at. Let me show it to you now in case you missed the last video. So here's the view from the road of the campsite. And we have the waterfall. Just unbelievably cool. Unbelievably beautiful. One thing I didn't film yesterday as we were driving in here is that there are these little waterfalls along the side of the road. Isn't that beautiful? We passed through Hamilton again. We're making our way slowly north toward Missoula, but we're stopping in a couple places along the way. We're heading to a canyon now. Into this canyon you can't really see straight ahead of us. And we're gonna go for a little hike. So this hike, I believe, is about a mile and a half each way, maybe 2 miles each way. Follows a beautiful little creek that I'll show you here when we get a better look at it. And it's just a gorgeous, rugged canyon that, again, we can't really see super well right now because of the trees. This beautiful little building right here is called Historic St. Mary's Mission, and it is the oldest building in Montana. This mission was founded by, I believe, Jesuit priests in 1841, but this building currently dates back to 1866, making it the oldest building in Montana. So we just went inside here. You can't go in on your own. You have a couple of options here. You can pay $8 per person for a tour, or you can make a donation and they'll just show you basically the chapel area. The tour is a more extensive 40-minute tour of the grounds here, but if you want to give the donation, then they'll just basically show you the inside of the chapel and tell you a little bit of the history about it. I believe this is the original section. This is the add-on section from a little while later. This behind the altar area, this kind of bulkhead is the altar area. This was a library, I believe, and then this was a kitchen and eating area. And most of this here was built by a Father Ravalli, He was one of the Jesuit priests here. And behind me here, let me flip you around, this was his cabin. And the interesting part about this cabin is that it has a drive-up window over here. So over in this drive-up window, people would ride their horses by and he would dispense medicine to them.
This is what I think is the most interesting. It's an apple tree Father Ravalli planted in 1869. It's 151 years old. I asked the guide if it still bears fruit and he said yes, but they're not that great. They're like little crab apples and doesn't really they're not really useful for anything, but it's believed to be the oldest apple tree in the valley.
Things like this remind me that this history really wasn't all that long ago. I mean, for here, obviously it's a long time ago, but kind of in the grand scheme of things, this apple tree was planted by the guy, by the Father Ravalli, and it's still here. I mean, that's such a neat link to the past, a direct link to basically the start of Montana. The guide kept saying Ravalli. There used to be a restaurant where we used to live in Utah called Ravalli's, and so I don't know if it's supposed to be said Ravalli or Ravalli, or if it's just an accent thing or what, but yeah, he's buried over here. And as we're walking over here to the grave, I'll show you some footage of the inside that I took. And also the story of how those Jesuit missionaries came here is interesting. Apparently some of the natives here, some of the Salish Native Americans who lived here, they had heard through their interactions with other Native American groups that there were some men in black robes that were powerful and could heal and all that kind of thing. And so over a period of, I think he said 10 years, I don't remember, but people from the natives from here made 4 separate trips to St. Louis, which is, I don't know, a couple thousand miles. I would have to say at least 1,000 miles. Not easy to get there. They made several trips to ask the priests to come here looking for the black robes, and so that's how and why they came to this area. And here we have the grave site. It says, Montana's tribute to Father Anthony Ravalli, who spent 40 years in this far west for the good of souls and suffering mankind as a zealous missionary and charitable physician. Beautiful area. This valley, this Bitterroot Valley, is just incredibly beautiful. I'd like to live here. Cassie and I have been, well, I have been looking at Hamilton, looking to live in Hamilton, which is like 20 minutes this way, half an hour this way. It's the town that we got those giant burgers in yesterday. Before coming here, I wanted to see if that's a place where we would potentially like to live, and I think I'm sold. I mean, it's just an incredibly beautiful area. These mountains, the Bitterroot Mountains, are just unreal. They're rugged, they're steep, beautiful, covered in trees. They're just these beautiful mountains. And there's tons of fishing around here. It's just a beautiful, beautiful area. I don't know if Cassie's sold yet. What do you think? Do you want to move here?
It is a beautiful area. I'm only worried about the winters as a teacher with a school year that's basically the entire winter season.
One thing I left out when talking about the church itself over here is that this Father Ravalli, he was kind of a Renaissance man. He was a physician. He built things. He carved all of the figures in there. So he carved the statue of Mary, and there's one of an apostle. I don't remember which one it was. I don't think the guide said. There's an apostle or a saint on the wall, and he carved that. He carved some of the candlesticks that are made to look like metal, but they're just wood. And so he was really a man of many talents, seems. I think that's it for here. We're gonna head back into the car and go grab Bowser and drive up to Missoula now. Well, it's a few hours later. We've been running errands mostly here in Missoula. That's where we are now, Missoula, Montana. This is the second largest city in Montana. Billings is the first with a population of just over 100,000. Missoula is second with a population of, I think, 73,000. Behind me here you can see the University of Montana. That's the campus right there. And we were hiking up the hillside here, up the mountainside here, to a giant M on the mountain, on the side of the mountain. A big white M stands for Montana, for the University of Montana. It's not an especially long hike. I think it's a mile, give or take, but there is some elevation gain on it. It is a bit steep, but luckily there are a bunch of switchbacks to help make it a little bit easier, so you're not going straight up the mountainside. Well, we made it to the top of the M. Beautiful views of the city out here. There's the Clark Fork River down here. Missoula is actually at the confluence of 3 rivers. This is the Clark Fork, which meets up with the Blackfoot River back over this way, and then the Bitterroot River comes in from over here. I also read that Missoula is the confluence of 5 mountain ranges. What'd you think of the hike?
I'm pretty exhausted. We already did 1 hike today and we've been on our feet since then running errands. My calves have already been sore from running at home, but I made it. It was steep all the way up, but worth the view.
Yeah, the view is really, really amazing out here. You can see the entire valley that Missoula is in. It's really cool. I'm glad we did this. For a single hike in town, I think this is probably a good one. We're back in town now, and we are headed to the river. We're walking along it now, but we're heading to a certain point along the river. This is a man-made wave in the river. And I know a lot of places have man-made waves where kayakers can go do tricks and stuff on the little whitewater wave, but this one's unique because surfers also ride it. I've seen one of these once before. It was actually in Germany, of all places, in Munich, and I'll show you the people that are over there surfing, if there are any, today. That was so cool. I loved seeing that. I would like to try that someday, maybe on a warmer day, on a day when the water isn't brown and high and fast. Maybe when it's a little bit nicer, maybe I'll come back and find someone to teach me how to do that. Well, it's been an eventful few hours here. In Missoula, when we were getting ready to go find a campsite, I realized that we had several hours of daylight left, and so I thought, why not get a head start on the next day's itinerary? So that's what we did. We drove a couple hours from Missoula to Helena, which is the state capital. It is the capital of Montana. And one of the main reasons for that was to see a couple of subscribers, a husband and wife couple who watch the videos. So hi, Bill and Maureen. Thanks for having us over. I met up with them in Arizona in January, several months ago, and you guys might know Bill as the guy who has the truck camper. I made a video tour of his truck camper, like a 40-minute long video tour of his setup, and so it was really fun to see some friends again. And Bill and Maureen told me about a campsite not too far out of town. We're about half an hour outside of Helena right now. We are actually smack dab right on top of the Continental Divide. So this blue dot here, that's us. And then this gold line is the Continental Divide. This line over here runs right through our campsite. So we are right there. We're almost exactly at 7,000 feet. And the Continental Divide, of course, is the ridge of mountains that runs through the Americas. And here it runs through Montana. On basically the west side of the divide, all of the rivers and the water and everything on the west side flows into the Pacific Ocean, or to waters connected to the Pacific Ocean, like the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of California. And then on the east side of the divide, all the waters there flow into either the Gulf of Mexico which is connected, of course, to the Atlantic Ocean or to the Atlantic Ocean itself. And so we are smack dab right on top of it here. That's kind of neat. I've never camped right on the divide before. Cassie and Bowser are in the car. It's cold, it's windy. Cassie didn't want to come out, so I'll say goodbye for both of us. I will show you the drone footage of this spot. It's incredible. I just did it, and I mean it's a pretty spectacular location. Hope you guys enjoyed the day's adventures. We really did. We had a great time. It's been really fun exploring Idaho. Montana these last couple of days, and I'm excited to experience some more of this part of the country and share it with you guys. Hope you tag along. Thanks again for watching. Let me know what your favorite part was. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next one.